really don't have enough time to like enjoy ourselves or not have to worry about homework or something for the job or anything. So a quote from Anton France: "It is human nature to think wisely and act foolishly." So I agree with this because most of us like take our lives too serious and we don't like give us enough time to like have fun and enjoy ourselves. Second, wisely, like thinking wisely like can get you really far in life. And I feel like life is too short to be serious all the time, and allow yourself to have some time to enjoy whatever you do. So we should not take our jobs too seriously because, I mean, it's just a job and you can lose that job any second. So I think you should like be able to like enjoy your job, but also like not take it too serious where you have to go and like you feel like you don't want to go to work because you hate it. Being wise and like thinking wisely, it can get you far in life, and it's like kind of like expands your mind in a way, and it can also help towards your job or whatever you plan on doing. And life's too short to take your life too serious. So always find time to enjoy life and do something you like doing.
Right, Ashley, I wasn't quite sure how the opening statement connected with the topic that you had. When you got to the point that you were making, it felt a little bit more like it was relevant, but then things just sort of fell apart when it came to the content because you don't really have a plan, there's not a structure, you start wandering around on the subject, some of the things that you say sound a little bit repetitive. When you get close to an example, it stays still pretty vague. And like I said, there's not really a sense that you are moving forward. It's more like you're spinning your wheels on the same idea repeatedly. And so, you know, it's always, I don't want to say cut and run, but it's better sometimes in those situations to say, you know what, I've said all I can think of on this, let me finish and get out of it, as opposed to trying to stretch it out and find something more. Because that's when the opportunity comes up to make a few presentation mistakes, and that's what happens in your speech. You have a tendency to use those verbalized pauses. We didn't talk about that exact phrase, we mentioned it a little bit. A verbalized pause is when people interject a word or a sound as an alternative to leaving there being a long empty spot. And those typical words that get inserted there are like, you know, and a sound, And that's where you've got the ums and the likes. That's how you get forward whenever you're stuck for the next part of the sentence. It's an or a like instead of going on to the next sentence. And you want to sound more fluid than that. Even if you have to pause sometimes, the pause is not nearly as damaging as the repeated use of the same term. Sometimes a pause can actually sound like you are thinking carefully about the next thing you're going to say and make you feel a little bit more confident because you're the one in control as opposed to or ah or those kinds of things. So that's I think a little bit of a problem. Part of that is that you don't have the plan again. If you had the plan, there'd be less likely that would show up. You probably know this. I don't know if anybody said you've got kind of a quiet voice to begin with, and so for an audience, you need to work a little bit more at projecting and kind of increasing the energy level. What you had wasn't bad, and for the size of the room, it's probably effective enough. But remember, we're hearing a whole bunch of speeches, and we're listening to you, and you've got the quiet voice. If you don't do something extra, you're going to lose the audience. You got to kind of force them to pay attention to you a little bit by changing your voice a bit more. And I think that you can do that. It's just a matter of being conscious of doing that. You fit into a comfort zone a little too easily there. Other things are fine. I think you have good expressions. There's some appropriate gestures while you're speaking. The body movements seem like they're connected to what you're talking about. There's not a lot of anxiety coming out in those places. It's mostly, like I said, in the hesitations and the awkward phrasing there. You can do better. You did find an exit line. I don't know that it's a very clear summary, but you found an exit line that I thought worked so that we knew that you were done, and I appreciate that. Thank you.